Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth Sports coming to you with another segment. Um, this is a quick breakdown of the offensive line and the loss that the Buffs suffered to Kansas State. If you want to see what I thought about the whole game, how I break each section down, look at one of my segments and I titled it "What I Learned About Coach Prime's Coaching Staff." Excuse me, the loss of Kansas State. This particular breakdown is just by for the offensive line. The offensive line, which is led by Pat Shermer, offensive coordinator, and the offensive line coach, which is Phil Lode Holt. I'm sorry. I'll get right into it. The offensive line. Well, the offense went back to being one-dimensional, so it was a lot of pass blocking, which I don't think the guys really like because it gives the opponent the opportunity to kind of pin their ears, and just rush the quarterback, which is what most defensive ends and excuse me lines like to do. And I think it puts the offense at a disadvantage, even though they held up pretty well. Shador was sacked 6 times. Two of those times was the offensive line's fault. The rest of those times was because of Shador holding on to the ball or running into the rush or trying to run backwards, not stepping up into the pocket. So that hurt them a lot. But the offensive line itself only gave up 2 sacks, which I think is excellent. One of those sacks, one of the running backs did miss a block. Um, the running back Augusta only had 11 rush for 11 yards. The offense did not look creative at all. The offense was basically one dimensional again because of the lack of rushing. By halftime, the offense had produced 7 points. So for the game, Shador and the offensive line, because I like to get the offensive line their credit, which is why I break it down the way I do. But Shador and the offensive line went 34 for 40 with 388 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. They did have a negative 29 yards, but there was a negative 50 from Shador alone. And when you're going backwards, or when it's a quarterback's fault, or whatever the case may be, those negative yards now count against the rush. And the pros, it counts against the pass, and they used to count against the pass in college. Now it counts against the rush, so it makes the numbers look even worse. But those are not true numbers as far as the offensive line is concerned. So that is what that is. Hayden did leave with 11 rush yards, so the offensive line only had 11 rush yards, but they had 388 passing yards. Overall, I give them a B minus, and they just got to keep grinding. I think it's a very good offensive line. I don't look at the offensive line anymore and just think they're going to break down for the most part. And I've watched every single game from beginning to end. They've done a great job, so they just got to keep grinding. So again, I give them a B minus. It's been Hunt 919 Truth to Sports. Ride with me. It's been Hunt 919 Truth to Sports. Ride with me.